a breath of metal, a thought of flesh. I wanted to understand the universe, and within it, I found light, even in darkness. A doctor under cold neon light. Amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. 2 years of life, maybe 3. 2 years. A prognosis like a verdict. But I defied it, not with words but with thought, because what if even time itself can be wrong? And someday, much later, I will speak, without a voice. A muscle, a beam of light, a machine, a new language born from silence. I will show how that became possible, and why it may hold one of the greatest miracles of my life. But before I found a voice, I first had to listen to the universe. Who am I? My name is
Stephen William Hawking.
The Child Who Counted Stars. January 1942, Oxford. On the 300th anniversary of Galileo's death, Stephen Hawking is born. A house full of books, quiet conversations, and curious minds. At dinner, people read, not to escape, but to understand. Stephen is silent, but inside his mind, the universe roars. Why does time only move forward? Where does light go when it dies? He builds his own telescope and scans the sky. A star, long extinguished. He whispers, "I see the past," and understands, perhaps we are all shadows of our own time. A child trying to comprehend eternity, sensing that the act of questioning itself is already a beginning. His father wants him to study medicine. Stephen says, "I want to know why stars die, not people." Oxford. He laughs, provokes, dazzles. But sometimes his hand trembles, softly, like a warning. The Fall. Cambridge, 1963. A dissertation about the beginning of everything. The mind races. The body stumbles. A fall, insignificant yet the turning point. The diagnosis, ALS. 2 years, and the feeling that his very self is losing gravity. He notices something is wrong. His hand shakes. A pen drops. While walking, one foot catches on the floor. In the hospital, he hears his name, numbers, foreign words, and somewhere, the word incurable. At home, he tries to continue, but every movement reminds him of what no longer works. It is not pain, not shock, just the sensation that time itself has stopped too early. He thinks, if my body slows down, my mind must not stand still. A quiet decision, almost invisible, but that was the moment he decided to stay. He withdraws, until someone draws him back like gravity. Jane Wilde. Literature, faith, gentleness. "I'm a bad bet," he says. She replies, "Then I'll bet on you." Love is a counterforce to physics, two people daring to defy the end. 1965, they marry, not from hope, but from defiance. The world says 2 years. They say, "We'll prove you wrong." The body fails. The mind ignites. Together with Roger Penrose, he traces the beginning of time. A singularity, everything compressed into one point. A universe with no before, because time itself ends there. No outside, because space is born only after. A beginning without a beginning. Knowledge turns into awe. And at the edge between being and nothingness, he asks, if there was a beginning, what came before it? A crack in the cosmos, a new way of thinking. He loves paradoxes. When nature contradicts itself, he says, it is showing you its secret. So he turns toward the darkness, toward the places where the universe reveals its truths. That darkness begins with a life, a star burning in perfect balance. Then age, the red giant phase, swollen and unstable. Then collapse, a supernova, a cosmic scream frozen in light. What remains is a neutron star. Or, if gravity wins completely, a wound in space-time. A point where time slows, light bends, and meaning collapses. a place the universe knows by one name: black holes, places where even light disappears. But he discovers they shine. In the vacuum, pairs of particles flicker into existence. One falls in, the other escapes, and the black hole loses mass, slowly, inevitably. Hawking radiation, light from nothing. He sees himself in it. If even a black hole shines, then nothing is ever truly lost. His body collapses, but his mind keeps shining. The new voice. A pneumonia, a tracheotomy, silence. At first he communicates with a look, one raised eyebrow when someone lands on the right letter, then with a hand switch, choosing words on a screen that a voice generator releases into the world, until his fingers grow too weak. Then, an infrared sensor in his glasses takes over. It sends an invisible beam that responds to hawking, to a tiny movement of his cheek muscle. A click, a choice, a sentence, a muscle in the cheek, a cursor that thinks. He learns to speak, through machines, slowly, mechanically, but clearer than ever. I lost my voice and found a new one. In that moment, technology is no longer machine. It is resurrection, rebirth, second soul. That voice becomes an icon, half human, half future. He writes A Brief History of Time, a book about black holes, quantum mechanics, and hope. Millions read it. He becomes the face of the incomprehensible. Science, he says, science is not only for the elite, it's an invitation for everyone. Two universes. Jane carries him, cares for him, holds together family and chaos. She is gravity, he, the light she anchors. But even gravity tires. A friend, Jonathan, helps. Closeness grows. Stephen finds tenderness with his nurse, Elaine. No betrayal, just two exhausted bodies in the stream of years. You were my gravity, he writes. And you were my sky, she replies. Love remains, only its form changes, like energy, like light. The star who laughed at himself. A man in a wheelchair who jokes about the cosmos with a machine's voice, and the world listens. He plays himself in Star Trek, appears in The Simpsons and The Big Bang Theory. He plays poker with Einstein and Newton, and wins. I'm in a rock band now, he says dryly. Not bad for someone who can barely move. Pink Floyd samples his voice. For millions of years, mankind lived just like the animals. He hears it and smiles. He, the silent one, has taught humanity how to speak again. Physics isn't a cold discipline, he says. It's poetry written in numbers. And if a theory isn't beautiful, it can't be right. But humor gives way to warning. AI, war, climate. The greatest danger to mankind is mankind itself. And then, if we want to survive, we must go to the stars. The universe without borders. He keeps living, longer than time allows, 5 decades after his diagnosis. He thinks faster than ever, develops the no-boundary hypothesis, a universe without beginning, without end, without edge. Because there is a law such as gravity, he writes, the universe can and will create itself. In that moment, something opens in thought, the sense of being part of the infinite, not an observer, but a witness. 2017, he finishes his last paper, Information Loss in Black Holes. He proves, information is never lost, it only transforms, like love, like memory, like himself. The light remains. Cambridge, March 2018. Einstein's birthday, Hawking's day of death. A life ends, and a legacy begins. 55 years after a verdict that gave him 2, Jane sits beside his bed, quietly. "I couldn't save him," she says, "but he taught me to think bigger." His ashes lie in Westminster Abbey, between Newton and Darwin. On his grave, T equals hc cubed divided by 8 pi gmk, the temperature of a black hole. Order within chaos, light within darkness. The final thought. His voice lives on, in data, in music, in time. Life may seem difficult, he says, but there is always something one can do and succeed at. As long as there is life, there is something to discover. A pause, a breath of metal. We are only a brief thought of the universe, but we can think. That is enough. And somewhere between space and time, a trace of him still flickers, not in form but in feeling. Wonder. The light remains.